Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network. Welcome to Gun Sports Radio, all about shooting, hunting, self-defense, and more. Now, here are the hosts of Gun Sports Radio, Dave Stahl and Lance Pelkey.
All right, folks. Hey, welcome. You are listening to Gun Sports Radio. I'm Dave.
And I'm Lance. And
this segment is brought to you by Gun Range San Diego, 7853 Balboa Avenue. Nordstrom's of gun ranges, 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Go to gunrangesandiego.com, to gunrangesandiego.com. They have it all. Training, beautiful range, rentals, you name it, it's all right there. Go to the gunrangesandiego.com, 7 days a week, 10 to 10. All right, guys, what's kicking? It looks like we got Mr. Joel Anderson on the line.
Is he on the line?
He's on the line.
Look at my headphones.
Put your headphones on. Mr. Anderson, how are you? And Merry Christmas.
Mr. Anderson.
Well, I am trying to figure out how I can get out of state in return with ammo before January 1st.
All of us are.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I tell you, they are working overtime in Sacramento against our Second Amendment rights.
I know.
Horrible. Just terrible.
I think that one is the one that's probably going to impact me the most, because you're not going to be able to have the direct shipments to your house like you have in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So you really can't get the best price. And I think a lot of people are going to start looking into how to pack their own bullets. I mean, I don't know how else you can get around it.
Well,
and keep it affordable.
Well, right now the best price on ammo is at Gun Range San Diego. We're doing 1,000 rounds of 9mm for $200. That's the exact same price that it is on Cheaper Than Dirt, and you don't pay shipping.
Exactly.
So you come down there.
Yeah, but how much have you got left?
We just ordered a ton. We got about 50,000 rounds of 9mm and maybe 30,000 rounds of 223. And then we're also a full Dillon dealer, Dillon Precision. We're a full Dillon Precision dealer, too. So if you want to learn how to load your own or make your own, come on down there. We can take care of that, too.
Well, that's a good. Senator, it's Michael Schwartz from San Diego County Gun Owners. How are you?
Michael, good to see you.
Good
to hear you.
Yeah, good to talk to you. By the way, Senator Anderson's been enormously supportive of everything we've done to try to preserve and fight for the Second Amendment here in San Diego. When we first came up with the idea of San Diego County Gun Owners, I sat down and had breakfast with Senator Anderson, and he said, "I want to be your first check," and he helped us get started financially, and
Awesome.
I really appreciate that. Senator, maybe you could talk a little bit about what is the general attitude up in Sacramento when they're passing these bills? I mean, they're not effective at stopping criminals. They're clearly just kind of an anti firearm agenda. They're not really sincerely trying to have an impact on crime. What do you see, or what do you hear when you talk to your colleagues who are voting for these ridiculous things?
Well, I think there's a couple things. First of all, many of them have never been to a range, have never been around a weapon, never fired one, have no idea the sportsman aspect. And, you can have a lot of fun at the range. You can have a lot of fun hunting. You can have a lot of fun, doing lawful things. They have no clue what that means. And that's the first thing. And the second thing is legislators are never held by the truth. I mean, that if they can spin it politically that they're taking care of crime by banning ordinary citizens, law-abiding citizens, Second Amendment rights, well, they're willing to take that because that gets headline stories. What we really need to be measuring is how are we impacting crime, right? I mean, we know that if you put a gun-free zone in your front porch and you say, no guns on my property, if that system worked, everybody would be doing it. But they're not, because they know that this is the biggest deterrent. And not only that, but you have a constitutional right. Whether you want to use it for hunting or recreation, or whether you want to use it for protection, it doesn't matter. The state, the federal government shouldn't have a right to ask you. You have a right through our Constitution to bear arms. And I think that's the disconnect, because they think the Constitution is malleable and that they get to interpret how the Constitution is supposed to be read.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things a lot of people may not know, but Senator Anderson started out as an activist. Used to do a lot of community activism for a lot of different causes, and eventually your first run in office was on the water board out in East County, right?
That's correct, Michael. Listen, this is like the best Christmas gift ever. You're just touting all my accolades, and I really appreciate it. But, the crazy part is the gun lobby in Sacramento in the 80s was the most powerful lobby. Nobody took on the gun lobby, and they played with brass knuckles, and they showed up, suited up for the game. And then somewhere between the 90s and 2000s, people kind of lost their way. Maybe they took it for granted, or maybe they were spending too much time on the range and not paying enough attention to Sacramento. And it drifted, and we lost a lot of focus and a lot of attention among legislators. And Michael, you've been part of the resurgence of the pro-Second Amendment folks in Sacramento. It starts in your local neighborhood. It doesn't start in Sacramento. It starts in your local neighborhood. When that person runs for water board, they better be good on the Second Amendment, because someday they're going to be the city councilman or the mayor, then your assemblyman, and then your senator, or even your governor. And if we don't catch them early and front load them to make sure that they're going to protect our Second Amendment, we shouldn't be surprised when they try to steal our guns.
I like the term resurgence. I'm gonna use that. We are the San Diego County Gunners is the Second Amendment resurgence.
Absolutely, and don't forget Gun Sports Radio.
And Gun Sports Radio.
How many radio shows in San Diego or in California doing guns positive or doing guns? Period.
You know what? I only listen to the best. I only listen to this station.
Yeah, that's all we care about. Hey, since you're terming out, please don't tell me you're just going to go fishing.
No, I still have a year left in the Senate, so I'm laser focused and finishing strong. But I am going to be running for county supervisor here in East County.
Good.
Diane Jacob is termed out in 2020, and that's the seat I'm gearing up for. So you're not going to get rid of me for too long.
Good. Okay. I just wanted to make sure, because a lot of people have been asking me, and I says, well, I don't know what his aspirations are, but I doubt he's going to give up giving back to the community, because that's really what you do.
You know what? I didn't set out to be in office, but I got to be honest with you, it's the most rewarding job there is out there. And I think I understand better why people are firemen and police officers. When you can help your neighbor, when you can lift your community, the endorphins in your brain fire off like no other.
Yep.
And it is so rewarding. And I absolutely love it. It's been a blessing to me and my family to serve in the Senate. And I feel very privileged to represent the people of East County.
Yeah, well, we got to do something about Sacramento. That's all I can say. I mean, there's just...
Well, I was out celebrating my 30th anniversary, so
congratulations.
I took my wife on thank you. I took my wife on a cruise in South America, and when I got back, I found out half of the legislature has been accused of sexual misconduct.
Yeah. Oh, you missed out on all that, huh?
That's crazy.
I missed out on all of it. And I thought, oh, my gosh, this is like a Christmas come early. I feel horrible about the victims. I'm not. Yeah. I don't want to make fun of the victims. But my colleagues now have self-destructed. They no longer have a stranglehold with the two-thirds because they've got some vacant seats, and I think there's going to be more to go.
Oh, I agree.
This just goes to show the corruption in Sacramento. First, we had 3 senators that ran afoul of the law and went to prison.
Yeah.
And now we have all these senators and assembly members stepping down because they took sexual advances when women said no.
It's crazy.
So if you're willing to take sexual advances, if you're willing to do some of the despicable things that they did to women, why would we be surprised when they try to steal our constitutional rights?
Absolutely.
I mean, it all fits together.
Yeah, it does. Hey, boss. You're done.
All right. Well, listen,
never say that to a politician.
Nah, he's done. Hey, you never get to say that to a politician. That's the first chance I've had.
You say it to me, Dave, everywhere I turn around, it's either your show I'm going on, or you're following me onto someone else's show, whether it's KUSI or someplace else.
You notice?
You got to be the hardest working guy in show business.
I'm number 2 to you, my friend. I'm number 2.
Really cool.
Keep up the good work and have a very, very Merry Christmas, and give the wife a great big 30-year hug from us.
You bet.
Thank you, Senator.
All right, hey, we're going to take a small break. This segment's brought to you by Gun Range San Diego. Be there, be square. AM 1170, The Answer. All right, folks, hey, welcome back. You're listening to AM 1170, The Answer. This is Gun Sports Radio, brought to you by the good folks at Trident Gunsmithing. Go to www.tridentgunsmithing.com. Check them out. They've got all kinds of specials going on through the holiday season. They're open next week, and then I'm not sure what their holiday season is, but just go to tridentgunsmithing.com. You'll get all the information you like. All right, hey, we got John Dillon on the line. Hey, John, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Yeah, not doing too bad. How are you? Back home? Everything good?
Oh, yeah, back home, all set. The fires are all taken care of, so just hoping that another one doesn't come back.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, get that Tesla washed so you get all that ash off of it. Poor kid.
Yeah, you'll have to call one of my family members to talk about Tesla.
You're so bad.
Here we go. I just wanted to talk to the listeners about two things. Mainly a reminder with Proposition 63, that was the ballot initiative that was passed last year. There's some ammunition regulations that are going to be going into effect January 1st, 2018. And mainly, it is that you will not be able to buy ammunition online and ship it to your house or to your P.O. box, or you're not going to be able to personally ship it to yourself in any way. It's going to have to be shipped to a ammunition vendor, or licensed ammunition vendor, a.k.a. Gun shops are pretty much going to be the main source of any ammunition vendor licenses. There's other ways for people to get them, but let's just keep it simple. So you have to send all your ammunition to shops in order to buy it online. And if you want to transfer any type of ammunition, like sell it, if you were going to sell a gun online, you have to go into a shop and do all the paperwork to sell a gun to someone else, even private party, California. Now, if you want to sell ammunition, you're going to have to go down to an ammunition vendor license and have them literally hand it to the employee of the gun shop, who will then hand it to the person you're selling to. And that's it.
Now, is there a background check? So there's eventually we're going to have to get a card. Then you're going to have to get a background check and everything. But that doesn't happen in January, right?
No, that does not happen this January. So when it comes to Mike's talking about the ammunition purchase permits and then the background checks for ammunition. So in this, we have both legislation that was passed in 2016 and also Proposition 63. So we'll see how they play out, because there's a little bit of conflict of, what one says versus the other. But essentially, July 1st, 2019 is when background checks will start applying to all ammunition purchases. So anytime you want to buy ammunition, you have to go through the background check. The way it's worded, they're saying this is instantaneous and you can be cleared very quickly with no delay. But again, this is California, this is DOJ. I'll believe it when I see it. Also, it contradicts the fact that we have to wait 10 days to clear background checks for a handgun or any firearms purchase in California. But that's July 1st, 2019, the background checks. And also in 2019, that would be when this ammunition purchase permit goes into effect. But we have yet to see how that's all really going to play out. So right now, it's just no shipping to yourself, no purchasing from individuals without literally just going into the gun shop or any ammunition license vendor and handing them the ammunition you're selling, and then they will hand it over to the guy who's buying it. There's no paperwork involved at this point. It's just literally making you drive, out of your way to a gun shop to have a third party literally just hand over some ammunition.
It's just more proof that some of these rules that they're making they are arbitrary at best.
And they don't know why they're making them.
I don't even know if you can count this as arbitrary. It's much lower than that.
Yeah. What's less than arbitrary?
Well, but what else? But see, they don't know what else to do. They really don't know what else to do. They're almost beside themselves trying to come up with regulations that make sense, kinda, to them, and hoping we'll accept it.
Well, they don't.
California is so extreme, and we have so many restrictions on guns and ammunition already that, these anti-gun politicians, there's already so many laws in the books in California. Mm-hmm. Now they're just coming up with anything, whether or not it is rational or make any sense. They're just putting it on paper and hoping it gets, approved, just to say, yes, we're all about gun control. We want to restrict, guns. And they have no idea what their laws are doing, and they're just making it up on the fly just to put another law on paper.
Is it Chicago or Detroit that's got the stiffest gun laws?
Yeah, Chicago.
Something like that.
Okay, so let's just say Chicago. Do they have stricter gun laws than we have?
In varying ways. So I like to put it this way: like also New York, New Jersey have very strict gun laws compared with California. So California doesn't have all the gun laws that Chicago has. Chicago doesn't have all the gun laws that California has. But they each have an exorbitant amount of gun laws, and they're extraordinarily strict and restrictive. But they're all of the ones we've just mentioned. They're in the top 5 right now.
So I got a question. 3. So if someone has ammo, you just had ammo for a long time, and then the cops come in your house, how do you prove it's your ammo or that you legally have it now that these new laws come in effect?
Oh yeah, that's a good.
Think about this. I mean,
well, that's the thing. Like, there's all sorts of these unknowns and weird situations and hypotheticals that we just don't know. We don't understand because laws like this make no sense. Like I said, there's no paperwork involved in this sales stuff. So, it's literally, I'm just handed, I'd go into, the gun range in San Diego, hand over a box of ammunition to Hollywood. He would then hand it over to the guy who wants to buy it. That's it.
If you're lucky, he might keep
it to the buyer.
He'll keep 2 bullets.
Well, let's say you're coming back from.
So it's just there's all sorts of problems that come with this.
Let's say you're coming back. You're coming back from Pahrump, Nevada. You were shooting out there, and you had some rounds left in your car, and you get pulled over. So how do you prove that you had those rounds for the last 3 years?
Exactly. And
okay.
Are they expecting people to carry the receipts of when they purchased, their ammunition to prove that, I bought this at, gun range San Diego 2 months ago? Are you supposed to hang on to that and stuff your receipt in with your ammo?
Okay.
And
that doesn't mean nothing. Just because you have a receipt, that doesn't mean that that's the exact ammo. But hey, John, let me ask you.
Exactly. There's all sorts of problems with this.
I was listening to the radio the other day, and they were talking about how Vegas has totally shut down the ability to bring a gun into any of the hotels. Have you heard anything about that?
So I think you're probably alluding to, there's a big thing that went around recently with this new technology that one of the Vegas hotels is going to start incorporating, and it's some type of sensor that can basically detect if you have a weapon or a gun on you, kind of like a metal detector. You walk through it. I don't know if it even works or how accurate it is or anything like that. But,
my point is because Reader is going to have his event out at Front Sight, and is this going to affect his program?
Well, you might. Obviously, when you go into another state, you definitely, especially if you're going to be, possessing firearms or bringing firearms into another state, make sure you do a little reading beforehand on the gun laws and how it works in whatever state you're going to. Any type of transportation laws, make sure you look those up. In Nevada, essentially, there's not a lot of restrictions except, when you're coming into casinos and hotels. Since they are private property, they're allowed to, make their own rules on how you have to, transport your firearms and bring them in. A lot of hotels, especially if you're a guest, they do require you to check them in, and they put them in an armory, a safe, where you kind of get a tag that lets in exchange, and they kind of valet service your guns, and that usually how it goes. With this, you're going to run into issues, this kind of firearm screening. because it is legal to carry, especially if you have like a concealed carry. If you carry in a casino and they prohibit it, they can ask you to leave. If you refuse to leave, then legal matters come into play. But people that have a concealed carry permit and walk into these hotels without knowing that these security systems exist, is it going to cause panics, and is it going to cause security issues? Are police going to be involved just because someone's legally carrying and they walk in through one of these security systems? I don't know how they're going to react. We'll see. But yeah, it does seem like they're getting a little more strict, at least within the casinos, not necessarily on the state level in Nevada because of the most recent shooting there.
Well, the charity event out in Pahrump, by the way, is about 45 minutes outside of Vegas, and the hotels in Pahrump are all very gun-friendly.
Oh, okay, good. I was just curious.
Yeah.
They have front sight rates out there. You tell them you're training at front sight, and they give you a different rate.
It's weird if you don't check in with a gun.
Yeah, why else would you be in Pahrump?
Yeah. Well,
Exactly.
For the Corvette driving school. What are you, crazy?
There you go.
That was her name, Corvette. Right.
That's why.
The only other thing I wanted to bring up on the legal level here was, this last July 1st, 2017, that was when the magazine possession law was going to come into effect. Basically, any magazine over 10 rounds was going to be illegal to possess, and that's regardless of when you got it. The good news is that was challenged legally, and an injunction was issued on that in favor of the opponents of the law. So essentially, although the law went into effect July 1st, it's been put on hold, so it can't be enforced yet until trial, until the matter's sorted out. That hasn't happened yet, but I do want to remind you guys, the listeners, that if you do have magazines that hold more than 10 rounds, depending on when this court case is and when it's going to be decided and how it's decided, that'll basically instantaneously either make the law moot, or it will put it into effect and it'll be effective. So if you have 30 round capacity magazines, that can be an issue. So I like to recommend, if you're planning on converting them to 10 round magazines with a rivet or some type of stopper inside your magazine, do it sooner rather than later, just in case you're not put in a weird position finding out about the court decision 2 months after it happened.
All right, buddy. Hey, well, thank you very much, folks. Anytime you need a lawyer, gun-related, Gatsky, Dillon, and Balance, go 760-431-9501, www.cafirearmslaw.com. That's the first call you should make when in doubt. John, thanks a lot. If you're around tomorrow, maybe I'll stop by.
Sounds good.
All right, folks, we're going to take a small break. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio right here on AM 1170, The Answer. All right, folks, hey, welcome back. You are listening to Gun Sports Radio right here on AM 1170, The Answer. This segment is brought to you by the Gun Range San Diego itself. 7853 Balboa Avenue in San Diego. 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Gun Range, thegunrangesandiego.com, thegunrangesandiego.com. Trust me, anything you need when it's relation to guns, training, purchasing, nobody's going to beat their prices, and no one's going to beat their staff, because their staff is not only trained, but friendly. If you don't believe it, here he is, Hollywood.
Yeah, come on down and see us. We'll prove it. Yeah, we or just you can go on Yelp, go on Google, and the only 5-star range in San Diego County.
Well, I got to write that down.
And it's you get on Yelp, look at the reviews, and see what people are saying. And then what I love about it is it's always about the employees. Every now and then we'll get one, hey, it's a beautiful facility, or whatever. But my favorite part to go on to Yelp is when I'm reading about how great the employees are, and they're always giving those guys accolades and girls. And that's something to be proud of when you can get that kind of group of people together in this kind of an industry. And, and people are talking about how friendly they are and not how snobby or, rude or, sometimes you get that gun guy and he's just old tankers and, and if you're not like him, you're not cool. If you don't like the same guns he likes, then you don't know anything, and that's just not how it is down there at Gun Range San Diego. So
I feel like you were looking at me.
Old gun guy.
Total opposite of that.
Well, we've been having all these guys on the show talk about this ammo ban and this thing that's coming up, man.
Exactly. We got the ammo ban, that's what
I call it.
Yeah, it's, the restriction on ammunition purchases. And that's why, Veronica totally understands that. She knows that people are going to be in that mode to where they want to get it before, the government starts putting their hand into your business. And so we have these great deals right now, $350 for 1,000 rounds of .223 and $200 even for 1,000 rounds of 9mm.
That's great.
And this isn't that steel case, aluminum case stuff. This is nice brass case, full metal jacket, 115 grain, 1,000 rounds of 9mm. So it's just, if you go to like Cheaper Than Dirt or anything like that to do some last minute online buying, it's going to be the same price. And with us, you don't have to pay shipping. You just show up and pick up your ammo.
Yeah, that's good.
And walk out the
up.
door. Yeah. And all these laws are kind of crazy, arbitrary at best, like I said earlier. And, I was doing some research, and these laws that they already have, just like John Dillon was saying, they already have so many laws on the books that if they would just enforce the laws properly that they have, they wouldn't need anything new. And what kills me is these people are up there, they're giving us this gas tax. They are, taxing us on our ammo now. They're taxing us on weapons purchases, and they're imposing all this on this money for us, and they're not spending the money properly. They're not spending money to, stop gun violence or anything like that. I don't know, but what they are spending on is they gave themselves a 4% raise. We have the highest paid legislature of any state.
Well, that's why they got to tax our ammo to afford those.
That's why they have to tax everything.
Exactly. So, it's so important. We had Mr. Anderson on earlier. We got Mike Schwartz here with San Diego County Gun Owners. If you're not a member of that, then you are not part of the real fight against these crooked politicians, these ignorant politicians who are making these gun laws, and they don't know anything about guns. They just hear somebody say, "Oh, we could do this." All right, well, I'll sign it. I don't know anything about guns, but I'm guessing this, any type of restriction is good, right? And no, it's bad.
Yeah, well, they think guns are bad because guns kill people.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Hey, you brought up an important point earlier, too, about components. That none of these laws apply to the components. None of them apply to reloaders.
Absolutely. So you can still,
Well, they don't know how to do that. They don't know what a reloader is.
Right. Well, again, because the people who make gun laws don't know anything about
That's what I said.
guns.
They don't know what a reloader is.
So
look at the big deal on the bump stock. I mean, that literally made the gun community laugh. And NRA said, "Oh, okay, fine, ban it. Yeah, fine with us."
Well, anybody that's ever had a bump stock, they know it's for novelty purposes. All it does is waste ammo. It doesn't really.
Right. And if you're any good with a rifle, or you can do the same thing that a bump stock does without it.
Right.
If you're proficient and you've been firing that particular weapon, you can replicate that.
We on this program, we preach this all the time. If you have whatever your budget is, half of that goes toward the gun, the other half goes toward training.
Right.
So
bottom line,
being trained, how do you put it? Trained, sane, and
law abiding.
And that there's no better person to be around in a dangerous situation than a sane, trained, law abiding gun
citizen.
owner.
That's right.
And if you want to reload your own stuff, come on down. You can come see me. Just ask for Hollywood.
Have classes? You guys have classes?
We don't have them yet because we haven't seen that much interest in it. But we do have the classroom facilities. We can make it happen, and I'm pretty darn good at it. And I can show you the difference between making a pistol load to a rifle load, the components you need. What a powder load is. How many. I can explain to
grains.
You exactly what a grain is versus an ounce and that kind of thing, and how all that stuff is weighed out. So you can get into a really, really, really nice, I'm talking like a progressive, really nice setup for about $1,500. And I'm talking where you're making hundreds of rounds an hour.
Wow.
And that's, and you can have that stuff
Can you buy
the
casings separate?
You can buy the casings. You can buy the separate. You can buy the casings from us. You can buy them offline.
Oh, okay.
You can buy the powder. You can buy there's 4 components to a round. You have the bullet, which is the projectile. You have the casing, the powder, and the primer.
That's it.
And that's it. And just
put it together correctly.
It's
after training.
The right formula to put those things together correctly and safely. And then there's nobody in your business. You don't have the government, breathing down your neck, showing, wanting to know how much ammo you're having. Because what we haven't talked about was eventually there's going to be a deal where there's a statewide database. You come down to, here in 2019, 2020, you're going to be coming down to Gun Range San Diego. Hey, I want that 1,000-round deal that you got going on. And we're going to do it. And then I'm going to have to get online, log on to the DOJ website and type out, John Smith, whose ammo purchase number is 34789, and he just purchased 1,000 rounds of 9mm.
Let me ask a question. What about gunpowder? Are there any restrictions on gunpowder? Because if you're going to reload, you got to buy gunpowder.
Yeah, it's one of the 4 components is the smokeless gunpowder. And no, the only restriction is you can only store without special containers, what's called a powder magazine. You can only store up to 8 pounds in one container.
Okay,
that's it. That's the only restriction right now.
Right now, because
that's a federal restriction. Unless you have, again, you have one of those, you have a powder magazine.
Is there a limit that you can buy?
Again, yes, without...
like if I just came down, I want 3,000 pounds of gunpowder.
Well, I'd sell it to you, but you could only take it at 750 pounds at a time.
At a time.
And that's if you have
all the paperwork.
A powder magazine and an explosives handling license and a San Diego County Sheriff's permit to accept explosives.
Oh, I bet that's an easy one to get.
Well, if Hollywood can get it, anybody can get it.
Well, there's a point there too. Yeah.
But no, there's a lot of great things you do. Oh, and before we run out of time, we have our 12 Guns of Christmas, and this week's is the Taurus, the M85 revolver for $209.
Hey,
38
nice.
revolver, $209. You come down there and pick that up. We got plenty of those in stock. But really, the biggest deal is everything. We put out the ammo last week, and it was such a big hit that Veronica ordered a ton more. Like I said, I bet we got 50,000 rounds in that place.
Good.
Wow.
So come
Taurus
on,
M85,
the M85 Taurus, and it's only $209. I like it. Every time I give the gun of the week, everybody else pulls out their phone. They want to see what
it looks like.
They're all looking at their phone.
What's that same gun, but it's hammerless?
Well, it would be
642.
Well, that would be a Smith & Wesson.
It's a Smith & Wesson.
Well, Smith & Wesson makes a hammerless. It's a 242 or something like that, or 440. It's a 442, I think. Smith & Wesson makes a hammerless. Taurus makes a hammerless as well. The problem with all of this stuff is you have to be able to, you got to find the one that's on the California roster, which is another one of those ridiculous.
Yeah.
Restrictions that California puts on its citizens. We talked about the roster before where even though there's, 600 and some firearms on that roster, when you break it down, there's really less than 300 because, a Glock 19 black and a Glock 19 green are the same. Yeah, olive drab are the same. They're the same gun, but that's considered two different guns on. On the California roster.
Well, speaking of all that, so we got this is the last week for buying for Christmas, right? So I was in Gun Range San Diego the other day, and some lady walked up and said, "Hey, can I get a gift card?" There you go.
I've sold about 6 today before I came
exactly.
to the show.
It's just
People
awesome.
are loving it. They come
so if you don't know what to get for someone, get them a gift card, get them some ammo, get them whatever.
Yep. They had this one girl come in, and she wanted to take all of her friends shooting. So she was sweet. She's like, it was me and my 3 friends, so I wanted everybody to go shooting. So we came up with the price. She goes, all right, I want a gift card with that on it. And then she goes, you know what? No. Split it into 2. No. There's going to be 4 of us. I'm going to pay for my own. So put it in. Give 2/3 on 3 different cards, but we got it figured out for her, so she was able to give her friends what it was going to.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know what to buy somebody. You just get them a gift card. Male, female, it doesn't matter. There's plenty of stuff down there. They're going to want.
She was tickled to be able to leave and know they were going to have a good time.
And they could use the gift card for shooting in the range as well as buying something.
Anything in the store. Anything, whether it's range time, you can use it for training. If you want to get a class, you could use it for ammo, gun purchase. range time, anything you want, gun rentals, whatever.
If you're like me, you've already gotten all your Christmas shopping done. But this is a good. I know. Yeah. But this is a good last minute.
You haven't started.
Yeah, this is a good last minute gift idea, right?
Oh yeah, especially it's great for office Christmas parties, stocking stuffers. And you're not sure. And like I said, we've been doing a lot too for full gun purchases. People are coming in and like my husband or my wife or my sister, my mom, whatever, has been looking for this particular firearm. Do you have it? Sure, we got it right here.
Bingo.
How much is it total? So we ring it up. It's this much money total. Put that on a gift card. We'll be back day after Christmas.
There you go. Nice. All right. Hey, we're going to take a small break, and we come back. Who knows what's coming up next? We'll have to look. Right here on Gun Sports Radio. I'm Dave.
I'm Lance.
This is KCBQ AM 1170, The Answer.
AM 1170, The Answer.
Welcome back. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio right here on AM 1170. This segment brought to you by the good folks at Trident Gunsmithing. www.tridentgunsmithing.com. Tridentgunsmithing.com. Go to their website. Check it out. Big on hunting classes. I'll even teach you how to make sausage. 858-577-0576. Tridentgunsmithing.com. Alrighty, so we got a free-for-all in the last 15.
We had a great time at Mikey's Christmas party.
We had a phenomenal time.
Yes, we did. Everybody was dressed up, looking good.
Yeah, hundreds of people at San Diego County Gun Owners.
And the most competitive guy there was Leo Hamill.
Yeah, what?
He had a death grip on his little raffle tickets. He was cracking me up. But no, everybody seemed to have a good time. Alesmith Brewery, folks, if you ever get an opportunity, you need to check it out. They have their own street right off of Miramar Road. It was a really good place. But that was a really, really good event.
It was cool. Hundreds of people. We gave away all kinds of cool stuff.
More than last year, you think?
I think the prizes this year were more than last year.
Oh, the prizes for sure.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. Alone and Unafraid, and the gun range San Diego, and
then the mouth showed up.
Which one?
Me.
Yeah.
Yep. You helped us out.
We had a good time.
Giving things away. It was a really good time.
Yeah.
Veronica was there, too.
Veronica was there. Yep. She was having a good time.
And her husband was there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. It was a really fun
My little girl wasn't there. Where's my little girl?
Sammy didn't make it this time.
That's the most adorable little thing. I swear to God.
She was at our Christmas party for the gun range. She was hanging out, and
good.
She was the little elf that gave out all the Christmas cards.
She would be the elf.
Yeah, she was a sweetheart.
So
it was super fun.
How cool it is! I mean, really, truly, looking across the room. I mean, this is our third annual. Looking across the room and seeing hundreds of gun owners come together for a Christmas party.
Yeah,
how cool is that?
Every walk of life.
I was just about to say, and it is an eclectic group.
If you were to come into a room and say, "Okay, Dave or Mike, how many of these are gun owners?" You'd never know.
Yeah.
Because that's the uniqueness about gun owners. Yeah, no offense, Joel Anderson. Not in a million years would I have thought Joel was a shooter. Jim Kidrick. Oh, by the way, I'm at the Air and Space Museum at a meeting. We're going to do this thing next year called Speed. And every month it's going to be a different speed. So I told him, I said, we had Jim on a show. He wears chaps, those little furry ones with the cowboy hat. And everybody looked at him. So he told about, I said, you need to come back on and promote your group again. But that's right. Yeah, you never know. But folks, this year is over with, but next year is coming. We are going to be here, and we want your support. We want you to help get the word out. We want you to join San Diego County Gun Owners. It's a measly $10 a month, for goodness sakes. You're never going to get that's the best bang for your buck by far. Not only the camaraderie, you get to hang out with really cool people, come to Christmas parties, and we got the gala in March or April.
April.
I mean, it's just the only way we're going to make a difference for our kids is to get active today. You can't sit on your couch and complain that you don't like what's going on unless you get off your butt and do something.
Absolutely. And we preach it on this radio show all the time. You got to get out there. You got to get out there and vote. And it's not just for the senators. It's not just for the presidential stuff. It's just not for Congress.
Local.
It's everything that's local. Just like Joel Anderson was on during the first segment. He started at a water board in El Cajon, and now he's a senator.
Yep.
He
was in the assembly and senator. Next is going to be a county board.
Right. So, and these are the people that you need to know about. Is this person pro Second Amendment or is this person anti Second Amendment? And the easiest way to do that, you can sit at home and do all your research and spend all your free time, researching everybody, calling, having interviews, or pay your $10 a month and pay the people who do this for a living and know how to do it right. Pay San Diego County gun owners $10 a month, and then all you have to do is log on to our website, and there it is. These are the people who are pro. These are the people who are against.
Or you can listen to our show. We will be bringing on politicians throughout the year, strictly to let you listen to what they have to say.
And that's pro
starting next month.
Starting next month.
Yeah, January is the season.
No, we have to do it. We cannot be complacent. We have to, there's so many things we become complacent about. When something happens, the NFL, for example. Okay, now if you turn on the NFL, guess what? They don't show the national anthem anymore. They've eliminated it. And the only reason I know that, because I boycott the NFL right now.
Yeah. You and me both.
But I turned it on at the 10 o'clock show. I turned it on at 5 minutes to 10, and I purposely sat there and I waited. And when the cameras went live, they were already on the field.
I actually decided to boycott too. Earlier today, the Packers lost, and they're no longer in the contention for the playoffs. So I am now boycotting the NFL
until the end of the year, until the end of the season,
next season,
until August of next year.
I had a really cool conversation today. A friend, she's a mom, she's a housewife and a mom, and. Kind of suburban, a soccer mom type. And a friend of hers just got approved for a CCW, thanks to San Diego County gun owners. And she was asking, approved.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's our first?
He is one of the first, yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's one of the first. So
good news.
We're starting to get approvals from folks that are going through the system. And she said, okay, so he's going to actually carry a gun, with him all the time now. And I said, yeah, probably. And she said, wow. She said, now, if you got a CCW, would you carry a gun all the time? And I said, yeah, probably I would. And she said, wow. She said, well, you know what? I support that. I want more people doing that. She said, I don't want to carry a gun. That's not for me. But I think more people should be able to, and I want more people to be able to.
Sane, train, and law-abiding.
There you go. But I thought it was really interesting that, like I said, this very, suburban soccer mom, she said, hey, it's not for me, but it's a better world out there. If more people are.
I was over at a little Christmas gathering yesterday, and the lady of the house comes up to me and she goes, I've listened to your show, and I don't even want to know. What the heck?
Sorry, Mike's wrecking the place.
Bringing down the house.
What are you doing over here? Well, anyway, it was an older. And her daughter's in her 20s, and she says, "I'd really like to get my daughter trained." I says, "Well, all you got to do is go down to Gun Range San Diego, see any of the folks down there, and tell them you heard it on the radio, and they will hook you up." I says, you go down on a Monday, I'll take care of it. And have her bring her girlfriend with her, so the three of you guys go down and learn.
Absolutely.
Get trained, and then learn to shoot.
But it's the now she has a friend. Now she knows somebody who's actually carrying a gun to defend himself, to defend others, around him if something actually happens. And what did it do to her thinking? I'm not saying she was against it before, but it made her go, oh, that guy? I know that guy. He's an old friend. Of course he should be able to defend himself.
Right.
So
my wife didn't want to have a gun. She is not interested. All right, fine. I think you should have one. Nope, not interested. Nope. Her girlfriend comes up. Yeah, you want to go down to the range? Oh, you shoot? Yeah. Honey, what? Now you want a gun?
Yeah, all of a sudden.
I asked you to get a gun, but your girlfriend says so?
Peer pressure.
But hey, you know what? I don't care. I don't care how you get to the pond. Just get to the pond.
There you go.
Yeah. So, all right. So, what else we got? We still got a few more minutes.
I attended a really neat function on Friday night. It was for a group called Rachel's Challenge. And I don't know if you guys heard about this, but that whole deal with Columbine, when that went down, one of the 13 people that were killed was this young lady named Rachel, who turned out to be an extraordinary person at her age, had wrote all this stuff and was really this leader person that you really never knew about, unsung hero. And more than just the bullying stuff, but really teaching, talking to kids about empowering them and things like that. So her father, can you imagine? He gave this presentation on Friday, a guy named Daryl, and so he created this organization called Rachel's Challenge. It's been around now for 19 years. Now they're around the world. They're in many schools in the United States. They're kind of setting up a second base here in San Diego.
What do they do?
Home base. They go into schools and they talk to kids about this thing called Rachel's Challenge. And they use Rachel's actual stuff and talk about how to empower kids themselves. Not only kids that are being picked on, but the bullies themselves. And I never seen anything like it. I was really taken back on how well spoken they were and how involved they get the kids themselves. And what it does is how it drops down referrals and things like that. It's very good. So we'll talk about that more in the show.
To help kids that are maybe being bullied or alienated?
Alien those kids, and then also too, the bullies themselves, and really actually changing the fabric. I never seen anything like it. So we'll talk more about it on the show, but it's called Rachel's Challenge when you get a chance and look it up. It had nothing to do about, the bad guy. They're going to be local now. They're actually out of Colorado.
That'd be a good KUSI segment, I'm sure.
Terrific.
Yeah,
great
absolutely.
group. Rachel's Challenge. Look it up.
All right. Well, hey, Christmas is right around the corner, folks. This station, and we do say Merry Christmas. Go to Gun Range San Diego. Go to Trident Gunsmithing. Go to San Diego County Gun Owners. That would make for a great Christmas.
And bring a friend. Tell your friends.
Yeah. Tell your friends. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Somebody, buy somebody a whole year with San Diego County Gun. What is it? The 10 ring?
Yeah. 10 ring club.
10 ring club.
Get a little card. Hey, by the way, now do you notify people that have joined when they're
Oh yeah. Yep.
Why would I do that? Yeah. That's right. You're married to Lauren. She'll make sure that you guys send in your next $10.
Yep.
Well, I want to make sure we do it. All right. Well, folks, we want to thank you very much. This is Gun Sports Radio right here on AM 1170. The Answer.
See you next week.
Answer.
Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network.